Welcome everyone. I hope you're doing well. I hope you enjoyed your weekend. Today, I'm sorry, I cannot stay with you this case, guys, because I'm having I'm having a hard time with my health, so I'm feeling sick. And for that reason, I'm recording this class. I hope you enjoy it and that will be useful to complete and present your homework. Okay. Today we're going to learn how to graph and write equations of circles. Okay, first of all, we must to define what we really need to know what is the definition of circles and how we can determine the equation of the circle. Remember, the circle is a set of points that will be located around the same plane. Okay, and this kind of set of points that will be separated equidistance. What does that mean? All of these points that will be separated the same distance from one singular point. This is what we call center. Okay, this is the definition of the circles. As soon as you can see in the picture, we have a one singular postulate that in this situation, let X and Y represents any points of the circle. Okay, and the origin of this situation will be the center of this situation, no? So the using the Pythagorean theorem, we can conclude, we can state the equation of the circle will be given by r squared equals x squared plus y squared. Why? Because this equation of the circle with the center of the origin and the different point x and y can be analyzed to determine according to the picture of the coordinate plane. So in this case, as soon as you can see, the center is given by the origin at the point 0, 0. And the distance for any point for any intersection of the circle, this is what we call the radius. And as soon as you can see, we have an x distance parallel with the x-axis and the y distance parallel to the y-axis. For that reason, if you remember, the Pythagorean theorem is given by the formula c squared equals a squared plus b squared. The only thing that we're going to change in this situation is instead to use the letter c, the hypotenuse, that will be substituted by the value from r squared that will be determined by the radius. And A can we call this one the x coordinates and B represents the y coordinates of the letter x. Okay, so basically, if you really want to know what will be the value of the radius will be the square root for x squared plus y squared. This equation of the circle will be useful if and only if the center is given at the origin, I mean, in the coordinates 0, 0. But in real life situations, that's not going to happen always. Will be at the origin. The center could be any point of the circle. Could be 3,5, could be negative 6,0, could be negative 7,8, and so on. Basically, the nature of the circle, the position of the circle will be changed depending what will be the reference point or the center of the circle that we're going to skip the graph. For that reason, we have a singular postulate when we're talking about circles centered in the values h, comma, k. H and K represents positive and negative values, could be whole numbers or decimal numbers, and that will be useful to determine or to write the equation of the circle. Everybody knows if you really want, everybody knows that you have a radius and you have the center, obviously we are available to write that equation of the circles. For that reason, suppose that you have a radius r and a center given by h comma k. So if you see, x and y could be represents any point of the circle. For that reason, using the distance formula between x and y and the center of this circle, h comma k, we can calculate the radius. Why the radius? Because remember the definition of the radius, the distance of the center of any circle of any point. All right. and the distance given by the radius. So we have the formula R equals square root of x minus h squared plus y minus k x squared. So the name of this equation, this is what we call the standard equation of the circle. In this case, we're going to use the symmetric. I mean, we always, at the moment we want to determine the center of the circle, always we're going to use the opposite sign of the coordinates. For example, if you have x minus 5 and y plus 3, the center will be given by negative 5 and positive 5 and negative 3. Always using the opposite signs of the circle. And the radius, as soon as you can see, that will be the result to calculate the distance formula between one singular point to the another one. Okay, so basically this is the introduction of the equation, how to write and graph equation of the circles. Obviously, we're going to solve a few examples. Okay, let me give you an example how we're going to graph a circle, obviously using the origin. I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to erase the whiteboard. And if you have some questions, please send me an email to let me know, right? Okay, let's going to erase the whiteboard and let's see what we got. And the first example, consider we have a circle. For example, it says, write an equation of circle with center at origin and radius of 3 units. Okay. Obviously, the problem asking for is for the equation of the circle, but obviously we're going to apply the equation and at the same time get the graph. Okay, first of all, the problem says the center. The center, according for the problem, is the origin. I mean 0, 0. And the radius will be 3 units. For that reason, the general equation or the equation of the circle with the center in the radius r is given by r squared equals x squared plus y squared. So basically the only thing that we have to do is replace the letter r by 3 units. I mean x squared plus y squared, that will be equal 3 units at the second power. So at the moment we to solve this equation, x squared plus y squared will be equal 9 units. This is going to be the equation of the circles. Okay, now let's going to sketch the graph. Obviously, we require a protractor or compass and your ruler to get the measure of this equation of the circle. Basically, this is going to be the coordinate plane. Okay. Remember the definition of the radius. The radius is the distance located from the center of the circle of any point. Okay, in this situation, we can draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. With 5 units will be more than enough. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. Remember, this is the y-axis, negative y-axis, x, and negative y-axis. Remember, the problem says the equation of the circle with center, the origin, and radius 3 units. First of all, let's going to graph the center. The center is the origin. Okay, this black point represents the center. of the circle, okay? And the problem mentioned that we have a radius of 3 units. What do we have to do? It's simple. We're going to count, because the radius is the distance between the center to any point of the circle. We're going to count 3 units left side, 3 units right side, 3 units upward, and 2 units downward. So as soon as you can see, 1, 2, 3, this is going to be the first point. 1, 2, 3. Second point to the left side. 1, 2, 3. 3 units upward, and 1, 2, 3, 3 units downward. And as soon as you can see, we have the vertices of the circle, and we can connect all of these points, and we're going to have the graph. As soon as you can see, connecting those points, I'm sorry, I don't have a protector. For that reason, I'm doing by myself. But we have a beautiful circle, okay? And this is going to be the equation of the circle, given by the equation x squared plus y squared. That will be equal 9 units. And this is going to be the solution set of the first problem. But what happened? Because basically this is so easy, right? We have the center of the origin, and the only thing that we must do is counting 3 units left, 3 units left, 3 units right, 3 units upward, and 3 units downward. But what happened if we have a center to another point? Okay, we're going to solve another example of the equation of the circles. What happened if we have a different point? In this case, will be totally different than the origin, okay? So basically, the second example says, we must write an equation of a circle. Let me do it, yeah. Example number 2. Write an equation of circle whose center is 1, -8 in radius 7. Okay, this is the second problem. We must do it according to the given coordinates. Okay, basically we have the center. It's given by the point 1, -8, and the radius will be 7 units, according to what the problem mentioned or what the problem says. So what we're going to do? Well, according for the situation, remember, we have a new formula. This is what we call the standard equation of the circle when the center will be any point. That we call this one like a h, k. So basically, the formula will be given by x minus h second power plus y minus k second power. That will be equal the square value of the radius. Okay, this is previously, at the moment, going to take the square root to trying to find out the value of the radius. But because we know what will be the value of the radius, the only thing that we must do is replace the values, and after that, get the graph. It doesn't matter what are the values from x and y. We are looking for only the equation on the circle. For that reason, we can call this one x minus. The value of h always will be the left side of the coordinate of the center. That will be 1. X minus 1 second power plus y minus k. Check this out. The formula says minus k, and we have -8. You know, at the moment we're going to replace that value, remember, multiply the signs. Negative times negative, that will be positive. For that reason, that we have a plus 8 to the second power, and the value of the radius will be 7 units elevated of the second power. For that reason, because we have the equation of the circle, the standard equation of the circle, to finish this formula, the only thing that we must do is elevate the second power to number 7, and that will be 49, okay? So the equation of the circle will be given by the numbers x minus 1 second power plus a plus 8 second power. That will be equal 49 units, okay? This is the equation in the standard form. Now, what will we have to do? Well, we're going to sketch the graph. Remember that definition of the radius. The radius is the distance between the center to any point of the circle. Well, what do we have to do? First of all, let's going to sketch the graph. Actually, sketch the coordinate plane. Okay, the coordinate plane. Remember the maximum number that will be 8 units. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units. We have the coordinate plane. Now, what do we have to do? The first thing always we must do that before to sketch the graph, always graph the center. Remember, in this case, the center is given by the values 1 and -8. 1x, -8y. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. We have a situation, okay? Because we don't have enough space to sketch the graph, let's going to create a scale on this coordinate plane. Let's going to assign a value of 2 units. All of them, I mean, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. -2, -4, -6, -8, 2, 4, 6, 8, and -2, -4, -6, -8, independent according with what we are looking for. I'm going to sketch the graph, okay? Well, 1 with -8, that will be the half over here, and -8 units located over here, okay? So now let's going to analyze what will be the situation, because we have the center. This green point will be located the center. Remember, what is the definition radius? Radius is the distance between the center to any point of the circle. And because we have 7 units, okay, 7 units, let's going to count 7 units on the left side, 7 units on the right side, and so on. How can we do that? Simple. Remember, we have the value of the x coordinate in the center located over here, right? 1. If you add 7 units to number 1, 1 plus 7, that will be 8. For that reason, the first value of the center will be located in the coordinate number 8 of the circle, on the coordinate plane. Now, remember to the left side, the only thing that we must do is subtract, because the radius will be negative. 1 minus 7, that will be -6 units. Basically, the second coordinate of the center will be located to the left side in the coordinate with the -6 units. Okay, upward and downward. Upward value, we have -8 plus 7, that will be -1. Okay, the distance between the center, -1. So the coordinate for the center will be located over here. As soon as you can see, these blue points are surrounding the green point, okay? And finally, -8, -7, because we're going to skip the graph downward. that will be negative 15 units. Then 12, 14, and 15 that will be located approximated over here. Okay. And as soon as you can see, we have the 4 blue points and surrounding the green points. So the only thing that we must do to get the graph is connecting those points. I know I had the protector, but we cannot create a perfect circles because we don't have a 180 degrees protector. But if I have a compass, I can make it better. Well, let's do the best. Okay, let's going to draw up the circle connecting those points. And basically we have this beautiful circle. Okay, basically the equation of the circle, it's given by parentheses x minus 1 second power plus y plus 8 second power. That will be equal 49 units. Remember, if you want to add the units in the x coordinate, 1 plus 7, that will be 8. To the left side, 1 minus 7, that will be negative 6 units, okay? The same distance to the center. Over, that will be 7 minus 8, that will be negative 1. And downward, this radius, that will be negative value. That will be negative 15, approaches over here, and we have the equation of a circle. Remember, guys, if you have some questions, don't hesitate to let me know, okay? You can send me a message in WhatsApp or send me a message for email address, okay? Let me know your comments. But this is a beautiful equation because we have the center already and the radius. The only thing that we must do is substitute. But what happened if you got the center, but you don't have the radius? How we can start with the relationship with the Pythagorean theorem and the equation of the circle? Well, for that case, let's going to solve a third example. To trying to find out what will be the relationship between the distance formula of Pythagorean theorem with the equation of the circle. Okay, let me erase the whiteboard and perform the example number 3. Okay, and example number 3 says, write an equation of a circle write an equation of a circle whose center with center at negative 2,4 that passes through negative 6,7. Negative 6,7. Okay, before trying to write equation of the circle, as soon as you can see, we can analyze this situation is, for example, number 3 is totally different, the case of the first two ones, because we know the first problem, the origin was, the center was in the origin and the radius 3 units. No big deal, substitute the equations, get the graph, that's it. And the second problem, we have the center any point, 1, negative 8, radius 7, substitute the equations, get the graph, and that's it. No big deal. But in this case, we have the center, okay? Center, we call this one like a center C given by negative 2,4, but the problem never mentioned the radius. This is passing through the one singular point. This point, we could call this one like a P point, given by the coordinate -6,7. Basically, before just trying to sketch the graph and write equation of the circle, we really need to know what will be the value from the radius. For that reason, my dear students, is so crucial using that formula, the distance formula, to determine what will be the radius, because the radius is the distance between the center to any point of the circle. Well, instead to write distance equals y2 minus y1 and so on, we call this one like a r equals the square root of the distance between C and P point. I mean, we call this one like a -6 minus -2 at the second power plus parentheses 7 minus 4 of the second power, because the distance formula is given by the subtraction between x2 minus x1 second power plus y2 minus y1 at second power. You know the equation already. Okay, let's try to simplify this expression. We have -6 plus 2 second power plus 7 minus 4 of the second power. So the radius will be given by 6 minus 2, that will be -4 second power plus 7 minus 4 will be 3 at the second power. So the radius, that will be 16 plus 9. The radius will be square root of 25. So the radius will be 5 units. Okay? It's simple, because the square root of 25, that will be 5. And at the moment, I'm going to write the standard form of the equation of the circle, just follow the formula, given formula over there, given by x minus h at the second power plus y minus k second power equals square value of the radius. Basically, we have x minus -2, that will be positive 2. Remember, negative times negative will be positive, plus y minus k, y minus 4 of the second power in the radius, that will be given by 5. Second power will be 25 units. And this is going to be the standard equation of the circle. We're supposed to get the graph, okay? Because this time we know the center is by given, again, by the coordinate -2,4, and the radius will be 5 units. This is all the information we require at the moment when trying to sketch the graph of the circle. Remember, the radius, the distance between to any point for the circle. So we're going to add 5 units to the left, subtract 5 units to the right, add 5 units upward, and subtract 5 units downward. Let's see what we got, okay? Let's try to do it the best thing in this space, in this whiteboard. Okay. Let's approach this, okay? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 units. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 units. -2, -4, -6, -8 units, -10 units. Okay. And finally, -2, -4, -6, -8, and -10 units. What is the first thing that we must graph in this case? Always, my dear students, will be the center. And the center will be given by the coordinate -2 with 4. I mean, this black point represents the center. Now, let's going to draw the points to the left, right, upward, and downward. For example, the left side, we're going to add -2 plus 5, that will be +3. Okay, located between the 2 and number 4. Now, -2, -5, that will be -7, will be between -8 and -6. Almost, let me see it, sorry. Yeah, better. This is going to be the second interception point. Now, over 4 plus 5, that will be 9 units. Okay, between 10 and 8 units. And 4 minus 5, that will be -1, between 0 and that will be the half value in this case. Okay, and we have this beautiful and marble circle. Okay, let me see, let me do it the best thing. Well, you got the point, you got the idea. Okay, this is gonna be the equation of the circle given by x plus 2 second power plus 1 minus 4 second power equals 25. Well, we know this part, how we can get the graph of the circle using the center of the origin, using coordinates just like a given point, and you're supposed to create the equation of the circle by a given radius. But what happened? What happened if instead to give you a center or point or a radius, I'm giving you a equation of the circle, but instead to have to be written in the standard form is written like a general form, just kind of a little bit complicated, right? So let's going to perform another example. And last example for to write and graph equation of circles. Let me erase the whiteboard, and we're going to use one similar and older formula that you learned last year in 8th and 9th grade class. This formula that we call the completing the square. This is one of the techniques for factorization formulas, so useful to factorize quadratic equations, because the equation of the circle, as soon as you can see, x and y axis, both elements are elevated of the second power. Okay, so in the example number 4, it's given by the equation of the circle the equation of circle is given by two periods, x squared plus y squared minus 8x plus 2y equals -8. Okay, state the coordinates of center state coordinates of center and the measure in the measure of radius, comma, then graph the equation. Then graph the equation. My goodness, this problem is totally different from the analyze that we made in the first 3 examples. Basically, we have no idea what is the value of the center, what is the value of the radius, and the only tool that we have up to this case is the equation of the circle. Actually, we can arrange this equation of the circle, getting together the x with x-axis, y with y-axis, and the constant to the right side. I mean, x squared minus 8x plus y squared plus 2y, and this equation will be equal to -8. We are arrange that equation, getting together the x-axis with the x-axis, y-axis with the y-axis, and the constant values to the right side. Okay, to write this equation into standard form, we really need to apply that completing square technique. But if you don't remember what is the completing square formula, don't worry, I'm going to refresh your memory. The completing square formula is given by the following equation. I mean, if you have a quadratic function given by f dx equals x squared positive negative dx positive negative z. This is a quadratic equation in the general form. To apply the completing square, the formula is given by parentheses x positive negative b over 2 second power minus b over 2 second power positive negative c. This is the completing the square formula that we must to apply at the moment to write that equation of the circle into the standard form. Be careful because this formula is so useful even only if the little coefficient, I mean the number located to the left side of the square variables, that's supposed to be 1. No 2, no 3, no 1/2, no -1, that will be 1. But if you check both equations, both are fulfilling this requirement, okay? Now, let's going to apply that formula twice with the x-axis and the y-axis. And let's see what we got, okay? Remember, first of all, open parentheses, copy the letter x. With the formula mentioned, positive, negative, that means you're going to copy the sign. Because this is negative, that will be negative. If the value were positive, obviously that will be positive. This number divided by 2, you know, 8 divided by 2, that will be 4. Close parentheses, elevated the second power. And subtracting this result of the second power. And what will be the value C? Because there is no third number, that means the value C that will be 0. So it won't be necessary to write 0. Okay? All right. In the second equation, we're going to apply the same formula. I mean, plus y, this time the sign is positive. Number 2 divided by 2, that will be 1. Close parentheses, second power, because we are performing the same equation. And at the end, I'm going to subtract this equation, the second power, equals to -8. Okay? What we're going to do right now, going to move to the right side. The constants, I mean the square values of any number. I mean, you have x minus 4 at the second power plus y plus 1 second power will be equal to -8. You know, -4 second power, that will be -16. Well, this case will be positive 16. And -1 second power will be positive 1. Okay, 16 minus 8, that will be positive 8 plus 1, that will be 9. So the equation of the circle is given by x minus 4 second power plus y minus 1, y plus 1, second power equals 9. We write equation, the standard form already. Now let's going to determine what will be the values of the center and the radius. Well, simple. The center are the values who's adding or subtracting the x and y values, always using the opposite sign because we have -4. In this case will be 4 units. And we have +1, that will be -1, okay? And finally, the value of the radius will be the square root of this number. The square root of number 9, that will be 3 units. And what will be the center, the value of the center, what will be the value of the radius? Finally, because we know the center of the radius, now we can get the graph of the circle. Okay, so let's going to draw again the coordinate plane. I'll do in scale on 2 units just for improve the space of this whiteboard. Okay, we have 2, 4, 6, 8 units, -2, -4, -6, negative units, 2, 4, 6, 8 units, -2, -4, -6, -8 units. Okay. We have the fulfilled coordinate plane. Remember, always, 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 we must just get the graph of the center, the first thing that we must do. Okay. We have 4 with -1. That will be located, the center will be approaches over here. Okay, this is gonna be 4 with -1. And now let's going to perform the graph of the intersection points. Remember, what is the definition of the radius? It's the distance between the center to any point. I'm going to add to the left side, right side, I'm going to add 4 plus 3. That will be 7. At the same position with the black point, between 6 and 8, we have 7 units. Good. Now, 3 units, 4 minus 3, that will be 1. Excellent. The left point that will be located between 0 and 1 and 2, 0 and 2, sorry. Now, 3 units of work. Because this radius is negative, remember -1 plus 3, that will be 2. And downward, -1 minus 3, that will be -4. And we have the 4 points of the circle. Finally, we can join those points and we have the equation of the circle. I know you can do it better than me. The circle. Well, basically this is the equation of the circle given by x minus 4 second power plus y plus 1 second power equals 9 units. Okay, guys, let me know if you have some doubts or questions. Please send me a WhatsApp message or send me an email. I hope you enjoyed the class. And well, actually, if it got wills, I see you tomorrow in the classroom. Take care of yourself. Have a nice and wonderful day. Bye-bye.